皆さんおはようございます。こんにちは、こんばんは。Welcome to the Japanese Easy News Article of the Day for August 18th, 2026. 2026年8月18日の今日の記事でございます。For our headline today, we have 作曲家の久石譲さんが3つのギネス世界記録を作った。For our vocab from the headline, we have 作曲家 which is a composer of music. 世界記録 is a world record. And 作る to make or create. Jumping back into our headline, we have 作曲家の久石譲さん. So we have 作曲家 is going to be the composer no. We're going to describe someone who is a composer. Remember with no, we can use one noun to describe another noun. So 久石譲 is the name of a composer. Joe Hisaishi in English, but Hisaishi Jo in Japanese. So the composer, Hisaishi Jo-san, we add the san for respect. And ga tells us that he is the subject of a verb or something else he is. But in this case, it's going to be a verb. And then that goes mitsu, which is three. Mitsu no. This is how we connect to another noun to describe what of three of something, right? So three of what? ギネス世界記録. So Guinness is the Guinness, as in Guinness World Records. And then 世界記録. If we look at the kanji here, we have 世界 meaning world and 記録, which is a record. So Guinness 世界記録を tells us that this Guinness 世界記録, the Guinness World Record, is going to be our object. We're going to do something to it, and that verb is 作る, to create, or basically to achieve. But in Japanese, they use 記録を作る to make a record. And then that is in the past tense, 作った. And that is the verb that is done by Hisaishi Jo, which the ga tells us that's what he did. So, the composer, Hisaishi Jo, made 3 Guinness World Records. 作曲家の久石譲さんが3つのギネス世界記録を作った。And here is our vocab from the rest of the article. We have 去年, last year. 式, conducting, as in like music. 売れる, this is for something to sell or to be sold. 会場 is a venue. 開く, to open or also to hold an event. 音楽, music. 記録 is a record. 今月 this month. 聞く to listen. 続く to continue. 今年 this year. 長い long. 増える to increase. And 嬉しい glad or happy.
有名な作曲家の久石譲さんが3つのギネス世界記録を作りました。久石さんは去年7月、東京ドームで2日続けてオーケストラの指揮をしました。今年7月にはロサンゼルスのハリウッドボウルで3日続けて指揮をしました。たくさんのチケットが売れました。どちらの会場も続けて開いたクラシック音楽のコンサートで今までで一番多い記録でした。今月はニューヨークのラジオシティミュージックホールで7日続けて指揮をしました。この会場で7日続けるのはクラシック音楽の作曲家では一番長い記録です。久石さんはオーケストラの音楽を聴く人がもっと増えると嬉しいですと話しています。
All right, let's jump into our article.
有名な作曲家の久石譲さんが3つのギネス世界記録を作りました。
Okay, so this is mostly the same as our headline, but we will go through it real quick. So we have 有名な. So 有名 is a na adjective meaning famous. So when we connect to a noun, we have a na after it. 有名な作曲家. So composer の. That's how we connect to another noun. 久石譲さん. So 久石譲, the famous conductor. が is gonna do something. 3つのギネス世界記録. 3, and then connect to another noun. We use no to say 3 of Guinness World Records, ギネス世界記録. O is our object, so that is something we're going to do something to, and that is going to be 作りました. 作る in the past tense, we made. So 久石譲, the famous conductor, made 3 different Guinness World Records.
久石さんは去年7月、東京ドームで2日続けてオーケストラの指揮をしました。
Okay, so 久石さん, Mr. 久石は main topic or framework. 去年7月, 去年 last year 7月 July. In July of last year, 東京ドームで. Tokyo Dome is the Tokyo Dome. で tells us that's our location where something's happening. 2日続けて. So 2日 is 2 days. Then we have 続ける. So 続ける is to continue something or make something continuous. In particular, when we have it in the te form attached to a noun here, that means continuous for a continuous period of time. So 2日続けて would mean continuously for 2 days. And オーケストラ an orchestra, no, something of the orchestra. 指揮 which is conducting. O tells us that conducting is going to be an object, and our verb is しました. What we did is the conducting of the orchestra. So, Mr. Hisaishi conducted the orchestra continuously for 2 days at Tokyo Dome in July of last year.
今年7月にはロサンゼルスのハリウッドボウルで3日続けて指揮をしました。
Okay, then we have 今年 this year, 7月 July には tells us as far as in July of this year. ロサンゼルス is Los Angeles, no, something of Los Angeles or in Los Angeles. ハリウッドボウル the Hollywood Bowl, once again a day here, telling us that's our location where something's going to happen. ハリウッドボウルで3日続けて, sorry, it's the same 続けて here, looks like I missed the Furigana here, but 3日続けて for a continuous 3 days 指揮をしました. Once again, 指揮 to conduct, を marks our object, and しました the verb する in the past tense to do. So in July of last year, he also continuously conducted 3 days straight at the Hollywood Bowl in Los Angeles.
たくさんのチケットが売れました。
Okay, then たくさん means a lot. If we want to attach it to another noun to say a lot of that noun, we use the particle の. So たくさんのチケット be a lot of tickets. が tells us that this ticket or these tickets are going to be our subject for a verb, which is going to be 売れる for something to sell well. Literally, it's the potential of 売る. So it means like we're able to sell well. But 売れる can also just be thought of as like sold. And 売れました would be in the past tense. So many tickets were sold.
どちらの会場も続けて開いたクラシック音楽のコンサートで今までで一番多い記録でした。
Okay, so then we have どちらの会場も. So どちら is which when we're talking about two different things. However, we're in an interesting grammar point here when we have どちら and も together. But we're also connecting this to kaijo, which is an venue, like an event venue. So どちらの会場も. So when we add mo to a question word, what that does is it takes that question word and it encompasses all of them. So どちらの会場 would be which of the venues. So we just talked about the two places where I did it at Tokyo Dome and the Hollywood Bowl. But when we add this mo, it means at both of these places, both of the venues of these places. どちらの会場も続けて開いた. So 続けて, once again, is 続ける to continue something. And then when we have that in the te form, we can kind of be like continuously. And then 開いた is the past tense of 開く, to hold an event. And then that is all modifying or describing our クラシック音楽のコンサート. So クラシック音楽 is classical and music. No, something of classical music. And that's going to be コンサート, which is a concert. So クラシック音楽のコンサート. Classical music concerts that were continuously held, right? And then で kind of tells us from among continuously held classical music concerts. 今まで. So 今まで means up to now. And this で kind of tells us that state in the state of up to now. 一番. Ichiban means number one. If we put it in front of an adjective, that means the most of that adjective. And then oi means more or a lot. So ichiban oi would be the most in number. And then kiroku deshita. So kiroku is record and deshita is was. So at both venues, they had a record of having the most. Now in the Japanese does not tell us what this most is connected to, but from context, we go back to the previous sentence and we're talking about tickets, right? So the most tickets sold up to the current point in classical concerts held continuously.
今月はニューヨークのラジオシティミュージックホールで7日続けて指揮をしました。
Okay, then we have 今月は this month は our main framework as far as this month is concerned. New York の something of or in New York. ラジオシティ Radio City ミュージックホール. So ラジオシティミュージックホール Radio City Music Hall で tells us at the Radio City Music Hall in New York. 7日続けて. So 7日, 7 days. Once again, 続けて, continuously. And then 指揮をしました. So 指揮, conducting, を marks our object, and する in the past tense, しました. So as far as this month goes, he continuously conducted for 7 days straight at the Radio City Music Hall in New York.
この会場で7日続けるのはクラシック音楽の作曲家では一番長い記録です。
Okay, so この会場で so この being this connects to a noun. That noun is venue. この会場で at this venue 7日続ける so 7日続ける to continue for 7 days. If we want to take a verb like 続ける and turn it into our main topic, we have to turn it into a noun, which is what we use this no for. 7日続けるのは the thing of continuing for 7 days は main topic. クラシック音楽の作曲家では So クラシック音楽 classical music の something of classical music 作曲家 is going to be a composer では from among classical music composers 一番長い So 一番 the number one or the most and 長い long So 一番長い longest and then 記録です記録 record this is So at this event hall or this venue continuing for 7 days is the longest record in composers of classical music.
久石さんはオーケストラの音楽を聴く人がもっと増えると嬉しいですと話しています。
Okay, then we have Hisaishi-san wa. So Mr. Hisaishi wa, main topic here. Then a quote, and then to hanashite imasu. So we'll get to the to hanashite imasu later, but in the quote he says orchestra no. So orchestra, no, something of the orchestra. 音楽 music, orchestra music o. It's going to be a verb that does something to our music, and that verb is kiku, to listen. And that's all going to be describing hito here. So person or people who listen to orchestra music. Ga, these people are going to do something or be something. Motto is more, and fueru is to increase. So people who listen to orchestra music increase more, and then to ureshii desu. So this to means if this thing before it were to happen. So if more and more people would listen to orchestra music or orchestral music, then ureshii desu. Ureshii means would be happy. So here, happy or glad. So Hisaishi-san said, I would be glad if more and more people listen to orchestral music. And then to hanashite imasu, that's where the said this comes from. So this to tells us that what comes before it is a quote. And then hanashite imasu comes from hanasu, to speak, in the te form followed by iru, which is how we basically say continuous and or it's happening right now. So Hisaishi-san said or is saying that he would be happy if more and more people listen to orchestra music. So, all right, that is it for our article today. Hopefully some of you enjoy Hisaishi Joe's music. If you are not familiar, he did most of Studio Ghibli's. I want to say probably not all, but if not all, most of the Studio Ghibli movies soundtracks are from Hisaishi Joe, and he is very famous in a lot of other movies as well, but he's awesome. So if you ever have the chance, check him out. 今日もありがとうございました。本当にもう毎回感謝してます。Thank you so much for being here, and please like and subscribe if you have not. ぜひチャンネル登録と高評価をお願いいたします。I plan to see you soon, and またね。